Hi, I'm Sandy Genovese, and the project that we're going to make today, I can't decide whether I should call it a card or a book or a three-dimensional display, because really it's kind of all of those. It's birthday themed and it's embellished very simply on the cover because when it's on display, you really don't see this. If you look inside, this is what's called a star card or a star book. And when you look closely, you can see that the panels of mine all happen to be decorated the same, but when you bring the front cover all the way around to the back cover, and there's a paper clip that's part of the design, when I slide this underneath and clip it in place, it now becomes this really gorgeous birthday display. So, is this a book? Is this a card? Is this a display? I don't know, it's just cool. And it does take a little bit of time to make, but none of the steps are difficult. They're all very simple. So I'm going to unclip it, which is an easy way for you to be able to store it. If you look, you'll see each one of these panels is made up of 3 layers. There is this frame in the front that's black, and that's the shortest one. There is a strip in the middle that I have decorated with stars that's a little bit longer, and then there is this striped paper that's the background, and it's longer still. The different lengths create the dimensionality when it's opened up. So if you look here, I'm going to start with the striped paper, and my striped paper is 9 by 6, and I am going to fold it in half, and this is going to give me the background for the card. Now for the next layers, if we look at the next layer is the middle. The middle strip is 1 3/4 inches wide by 7 inches long. It has to be shorter than this so that when the two end up being glued together, you start to get dimensionality. In order for this to get folded closed, it's going to have a fold in the middle also. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. And now I'm going to decorate it, and I'm just using star die cuts. Let me bring a few up here and show you. I have a couple of different sizes of Sizzix stars. I'm going to fold the largest one that's red. I'm going to fold this little guy in half just so to make sure that I place him in the middle so that the folds align. So I'm going to put some adhesive just on his legs because I want him to stand up in the card. So I'm going to position him so that he sits about like this, and I'm going to lightly make sure that when I fold it closed, it lines up with that fold line. So I now have like the middle section of the middle strip. Then I just went back and I added once again on the legs of some polka dot pink paper that's cut into stars. I'm going to add adhesive to the base of those, and I'll attach one in this vicinity here and one. It can overlap if you wanted to. It doesn't have to. It's up to you. I kind of like things to be random and upside down. I can't even, if for some reason upside down, it's harder for me to see my design, but you can see it's going to work nicely when it's folded closed. This will give you what will be the middle layer. So eventually it will get fastened with adhesive just on the ends like this. Now to look at the front layer, I started with black cardstock, or it could be black paper, and this is a 6-inch square. I came in and I marked a 3/4 inch frame all the way around, and if you look closely you'll see it's marked with pencil. Now you can get in there with your X-Acto knife and cut. When I have to cut an interior line that's straight, that's where I bring in my Fiskars cutter because it works so well for things like this. Now if you haven't seen this or anything like this before, if I put my hand under here, this wire is actually the cutting edge. That's where it's going to cut, is along that wire, and the blade is inside here. So if I take this and I place it so that it's flush against my line here, and now when I close this, I want my wire to align with my pencil line. So when I close this over, I'm going to slide, hopefully you're getting really close and you can see, I'm moving this so that you can see I want that pencil line, when it matches and I can see that it's right underneath the wire. Now I'm going to bring this over. I don't want to start cutting until I get to that first pencil mark. So what I usually do is lift this up, bring this more into the middle, poke it down into the cardstock, and then slide it until my finger section lines up with the pencil line that's right here. And sometimes I lift this up just to see. I need to go just a hair further. I'm going to go just a tiny bit more. And now I'm going to cut this direction. And I'm going to stop when this lines up with the pencil line here. Yep. I'm going to turn it and repeat this on all 4 sections of this frame, this black frame. So I'm now cutting the final section of that black frame. Let's lift it up and see. So you can see that it's cut out the frame, and get this cutter out of the way for now, with nice really straight edges. Any place where the pencil line still shows, of course, you're gonna want to go back and erase that out. Paper has a grain just like fabric does, just like wood does, and it will work best if you fold it with the grain. So if you go like this and it fights you, because this is a square, you can turn it the other direction, and once again you're going to fold this in half. A nice good fold on the top and the bottom of that frame. And now it's time to add the embellishment. I'm not going to stop to, well, yes I am, because that pencil line really kind of shows. In order to add the embellishment here, I used a party blower. So this is a die cut, and if you look here, you can see that it's a die cut shape. I've rubber stamped some pattern onto the base of it. I'm going to take I've used the same die to cut out of patterned paper, a section that I'm going to place on top, and I've already put some adhesive just to save time. And I've got some adhesive on the back of this. I'm going to position this so that it sits right over the top. And then this little smaller burst, notice I have just a little bit of the foam adhesive. Let me pull the backing off and turn this over and attach this right over the top. Now, this is going to sit roughly in this position. I want to make sure that when I fold, I don't go over the fold line. So that's my guide. Also, I'm going to go back any place where this sticks out, and I'm going to trim off the excess from that starburst. So I can see I need some adhesive here, and just on a couple of other little tips. Because I'm using removable adhesive, it's nice because I can put adhesive every place I think I need it, and if I end up putting it someplace I don't need it, I can rub it off from the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and position this onto the frame. So I'm going to just angle this maybe a little bit more. Position this, get that to stick down, and then as I said, like, see, I've got some adhesive here that I don't want to hold the card shut. I'm going to rub off any place where I have adhesive on the back side that I don't need it. I also have, if you look closely, I'll bring this back in and show you, notice that I added some more dimensionality by putting these little candles here. The candles I used are stickers, and if you're going to use stickers, be sure that you use mirror image ones or use die cuts, and that way you can just fasten it adhesive only where it's going to stick to the card. But if I want to place a candle here, for instance, I've got all of this stickiness back here that's going to stick when I close the card together. What I need to do is either turn it over and put baby powder on the back of that, or because I happen to have some other stickers here that are the mirror image, it's actually faster for me to just go ahead, if you don't mind wasting a few stickers, and line the back of it. And then you would do the same thing. I think I have a little cluster of 3. Yeah, if you look at my original, you can see I have 3 of the candles there for that. Once you have the front fully embellished, the middle fully embellished, and the back all folded, it's time to just put it together. So first I'm going to put some adhesive behind what will be, remember this is on the black frame, it's 3/4 of an inch, so I'm going to go about 3/4 of an inch on one side of this section and attach it in the bottom corner, and then I'll close it up and I'll put adhesive and then attach this to the other corner. I need to look and turn it over so I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. I really only have to close the card and push, and it will align. So I have the middle section fastened, and then in order to fasten the front, I'm going to go ahead and put, you can see I'm going to put adhesive. If you look at this, you can see I only want my adhesive to be on the sides. See how the front needs to close, open and close, and it needs to hang free. So if I flip it over, I'm going to only put adhesive behind the two sides of my frame. And then I'll bring it up and I'll go ahead and place one so that it aligns with all the edges, and press. And then hopefully I can do this so you can see. Line the other side up with the edges and press. And when I close it and press, now you can see what I meant about this little bit of paper sticking out. If you like how it looks, that's fine. If closed, it's going to bother you to have something showing. Because it's just meant to be kind of a free-form little starburst, it's easy enough to trim it off. It's still, I think, very effective. This was one section. You can see none of it's hard, but by the time you need to do 4 more of them, it's going to take a little bit of time. So this is for somebody really special. Once you've done all 5, to attach them together, you simply put adhesive on the back of one, pretend like this is all fully decorated, and then you attach the back of one to the front of the next one. And then you put adhesive here and attach the next one, so that eventually they're all fastened together just like you see here. Backs to front, backs to front. And then they will stay closed. You go back and add whatever embellishments. You can see I've added a paper clip that's in the shape of narrow hearts. Oh my gosh, there's tons. If you go to office supply stores, tons and tons of choices. So all you need to do is pull it around and clip it in order to get this great looking display. If the person you're going to send it to might not know about clipping it, I find that it's kind of helpful to put your information. I put it on the flap of the envelope. So this says, to display, clip the front to the back. Here is another variation done the same way. Notice once again, hardly any decoration on the cover because it's not going to show. But inside, there's a couple of things different. One, I've used it to feature photos. And instead of just having one middle section, I have 2. The first one is